Good Sunday morning. I'm Jaden Jefferson, and welcome to this week's Community Focus. This morning, I am joined by Lucas County Commissioners Pete Gerken and Lisa Sobecki. Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jake, for having us. Appreciate it much.
Thank you, and thanks for being on the show. And obviously, it's December now, which means that 2023, it really went by pretty quick. So, in terms of this year for the Lucas County Commissioners, talk about what was accomplished this year that you guys are excited about.
There's a lot. What we're excited about is a 10-year process. Well, we had a new commissioner for the year, so congratulations to Lisa being our board member. That's a big accomplishment. We got a year under our belt with Lisa. Look forward to many more. So it's been a good year to learn each other and contribute to each other's strengths to the county. We did come on in time. We got started on a new jail, which not everybody would find exciting, but we, as the county commissioners, have been impassioned about criminal justice reform, about giving people the right experience. And I would like to say, I remind everybody it's important. The Lucas County Jail is not a prison. Nobody is sentenced to that jail. So why do we put a lot of community support? If you get arrested, you're just there for a short period of time going to trial. So we think people that are held without conviction ought to have an experience that isn't awful to do it. It's bad enough you get into jail because something bad happened, right? And we don't want things to get worse. So I think I'm excited about that. Lisa will join us, but we sued the EPA and won. We're still fighting for clean water access. And we're always going to stand up to keep Great Lakes, Maumee River, and Lake Erie clean. Completed a renovation of the Huntington Center or the Convention Center. Completed the opening of our hotel. Last year, we've worked with the community to do diverse things like the Greenbelt Parkway Apartments. We got in there, got our sleeves put up to try to make what used to be the worst housing project in the city cleaned up and a place for their residents to shine. So there's a couple of things come off my head.
And Commissioner Sobecki, before I have you chime in on those, I also wanted to emphasize that as well. This was your first year with the Lucas County Commissioners. So was this just a readjustment for you?
It was. And, I appreciate Commissioner Gerken, Commissioner Wozniak for welcoming me in, but had probably maybe about 2 hours to be able to take a breath. And we just slid in and went right to work. And so I appreciate that. So, but we have been working, we also broke ground on our new canine care and control facility, a $37 million project, as Commissioner Gergen talked about, our new detention center, but also our dogs kind of felt like they're in a detention center currently right now, but soon going to be having an amazing new home. And it's right there on Monroe Street, right in the corridor. And I know that those pups, when they come in there, are just going to be so excited to have a brand new facility along with the staff. And they all deserve that new opportunities there too. We also did a lot of investments around affordable housing. I know that's very near and dear to all three of us. We've done a lot of ARPA dollars going into those investments, approximately $1.5 million to help develop the Trailside Lofts project. This is a workforce housing development in Maumee. So we had that opening, excited for that. Also with LMA, Lucas County Metropolitan Housing, the redevelopment of the Park Hotel, which is going to be transformational for those that are coming out of young adults that are coming out of foster care that age out 18 to 24-year-olds, having that project so that they would not be homeless. And so excited for that to come on board. Also, the permanent supportive housing development on the Warren Commons, approximately about $500,000. All these are ARPA dollars that came through. And also we're supporting the YWCA domestic violence shelter expansion. And I think, Jaden, you've gone through the YWCA, so you know intimately there about how important it is that our women and men that are in domestic violence situations be able to have a respectable place to call home for a short time as they're going through some difficult times in their lives. So those little snapshots of some of, say, economic development opportunities.
And Commissioner Gerken, I know you had mentioned in your remarks before, you also mentioned Lucas County Commissioner Tina Skeldon-Wozniak, who announced that she will be leaving the commissioner. So I'm sure that's pretty bittersweet.
Tina and I have been in government bodies, public service together for 25 years. She came on to city council when I was already there in 1997. She came to the board. I followed her. So it's been a quarter century that, you have somebody that you're used to serving with. And Tina has always had that same steady, compassionate, approachable. She was never a politician. She was always a public servant. And I learned a lot from her, and we grew up together. So for me, I know Lisa at least had a year with her. For me, it's very bittersweet. But we congratulate her. She's very happy to go out and be a grandma and start the next phase of her life. She's still young enough to do that. But I'm going to miss her, and I think the community is going to miss her.
I'm sure going into next year, a lot of things are going to be different, of course, now having that change of dynamic happening. But 2024 can also be viewed as an optimistic year for Lucas County because we're already having those discussions about what next year is going to look like, of course, with breaking ground on that new jail and also for Lucas County K-9 Care and Control's new home. So for people that are just curious about where their dollars are going in 2024 here in Lucas County, what's the plan?
Well, we just passed our budget, and I think Lisa loves to speak about that. She loves budgets actually more than I do, and she's good from having been on the school board in the state house. But I think what the community has come to expect from the board of commissioners, we've been steady. We don't ride a roller coaster up and down. Our budgets are always well preserved. We have good operating reserves. We try to communicate to the ear of the public where we're spending our money. Our job is to deliver services. We do more of the social services than the city does. Let's face it. The city has police and fire. We don't really have that. So we try to pick up those services a lot of times in the social or quality of life areas. And I think we have a plan for next year. We're going to continue to put money into the community. We budgeted $1.2 million for community development money. So people can come and access some support for those. You can't fund every big thing, but we have to fund some small things too. We have to get into those neighborhoods with the tax dollars and help reinvent them. And that's part of the plan we have for next year.
Jane, I'll add on to that though, is we actually bridge the gap where the state does not step into our communities. I think that's what the commissioners have done over the years. We're going to continue to do that. We've done that well. Something new that we're going to have within our budget this year is the county's committed to investing $500,000 into the benefit cliff. Because what happens a lot of times is that you have families that are on your SNAP benefits, your Medicaid, your child care assistance, and their boss is wanting to give them more hours and increase their work, increase their pay. But the unfortunate part is because of the way the laws are written, they're going to probably make too much, be over income, and be cut off immediately. So a lot of people will decide, I may have to, not take that raise, not take those increased hours, or might have to leave that job because they're going to lose, for example, their child care benefits right off of the bat. And to be able to budget that. And we all know within our family budgets, it takes time to level out that budgeting time. And so I'm really proud that we are doing this, which actually we did not have assistance from the state where we're stepping in and bridging that gap for our families here. So that's just expanding on a part of this is beyond that $1.2 million of community funding that Commissioner Gerken talked about. This is another set of dollars that we've set aside that will go directly into our community. So really proud of that. But that will also help leverage us down at the State House to say, look, there is really a need for that. And that's a workforce benefit versus a social service benefit. So looking forward to seeing how we can continue to expand across our county with that.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of us economically have just been challenged by these post-pandemic years, and inflation, everyone's impacted, including county government. So how do you work through a difficult time when it comes to things just getting more expensive?
We have a great staff that do this, and they know how to plan. And somebody asked the other day, all that ARPA money you guys got, that's only one-time money. So how do you make that go longer? It's kind of an economic, it's a budgeting trick. But we used the money that the feds gave us to pay down debt that we have, just like you would if you have credit card debt, right, and the interest rates are high, right? If you pay that down, do you avoid the bigger interest rates, and it gives you more money every month sustainably to go forward. We've employed, just like you would at home, we've employed that strategy to county government. Take some of this ARPA money that we know only comes for a minute, but how can we make it last? Well, we pay down debt, or we don't take as much debt because of that. That gives us more money. We're happy to give our employees a 6% raise. They deserve it. Inflation has impacted them. So because we have taken a fairly unique approach to our financial planning, so we can give them a 6% raise and maintain that, we've used ARPA dollars not just for housing and things that we need to do immediately, but we found a plan that makes them last then over the years. I think you're going to see the benefit of that for a long time.
Between inflation and then, of course, having to continue a lot of these county services, I want to go back to the jail, because obviously one of the big priorities here was, and since you're getting a new building, you have the opportunity to do things that you weren't able to do before. And so how is that going to be funded?
I think we have a great sheriff. So the county commissioners fund the jail and cause it to be built. But if you want a jail to run, you have to turn to the sheriff, right? And Sheriff Navarre has made a real commitment to make that operation work much more efficiently. We're going to a whole new way to incarcerate prisoners, more of a direct access to them. It's going to save on staff money. It's going to save on overtime money. It's going to save on other costs associated with jail. So we think not only will the new building give us a new look at criminal justice reform, but with our sheriff's leadership, we can actually reduce the cost of operating that jail by millions of dollars a year.
But Jaden, it's not just there's more to that though too than just saving on those ends, but it's how the folks when they come into our jail, how we'll be able to meet their needs, and that's through that new behavioral health center that we will have, and actually that's going to be Commissioner Tina Skeldon-Wozniak Behavioral Health Center. We unveiled that on Tuesday in her honor for her work around this. But if you look at the folks that come into the jail, they're really in mental health crisis, and being able to help them through that mental health crisis while they're in the jail, and then and waiting to be go to court, be able to help them right then and there, so we don't have that continuous revolving door. And so I think that that's really a commitment that the county has made to our community. Mental health is everywhere. And sometimes mental health might end you up into our county jail. But I also want to, if you don't mind, there's always, the commissioners are never afraid of challenges. This past year, we all know that there was the tornado out in Point Place. I just happened to have lived there. The county commissioners, with under the leadership of Commissioner Gerken, is stepped up. We stepped up to help the community a lot when there wasn't help from other entities. And so I'm really proud of the work that the county did, not only for the community that I live in, that Commissioner Gerken has lived in the past, but to help them get resources immediately to them. So that was a crisis that we met. Very, very quickly, we got money into people's hands. We were able, our county engineer was the first to arrive on the scene to be able to help clear the pathways for the emergency vehicles to be able to get in, to be able to help people. We had feeding operations out there for the community with an amazing partner. Tina Butts and the community came out there with a movement to feed the community when they did not have electricity and have food in so many different ways. So, and that's just, crises come to us. There's a problem, and these commissioners we've been committed to finding the solution.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some things.
Lisa, that trial by fire, she becomes a new commissioner, then she gets a tornado in her backyard.
Just a typical Lucas County commissioner life. What could I say? Well, in terms of those things, obviously a lot of memorable things happened this year. A lot of things that required a lot of action, a lot of money on some parts too. So I guess in terms of 2024, what's next on the agenda to tackle?
Well, I think just on some of the tourist attractions, we're going to do a Marvelous Jeep Fest again. We're in our 7th to 8th year of doing that. That's a summertime opportunity for people to come downtown. We had 70,000 to 75,000 people. It's the biggest one-day event every year. in the history of Lucas County. So even though we have to stand up to these crises and do some of the hard, we like to have fun too. Our convention and visitor center is doing really well. We're doing things at the Huntington Center. We did face the loss of some opportunity to have entertainment on the river this year when ProMedica got out of the concert series. Look, I'm old, but I've been around long enough time. We always have music on the river for decades. So we're hopefully we work with the city of Toledo to make sure there's a promoter that will bring, at least for the next year, concerts down. So again, we want to continue to draw other people from outside Lucas County to Lucas County. And when they get here, they love it. We were partners on the Metro Park, on the Glass City Metro Park. So I think that we do some fun stuff too, and we look to continue that.
And what's fun though, Jade, is that when people do come here for the fun stuff, they make a visit to Lucas County. After about 2 to 3 visits, they end up start looking for a home, and they want to call this home because they see that we have so much to offer. Now, for the nerdy kind of stuff of what we're going to be doing, maybe not as exciting right out of the bucket, but is the county is the first time ever doing a strategic plan. So looking at in order to get all of our employees to drive in the same direction towards shared goals. But that's not just for our employees, but that's for our community. And so we're really excited to get this started and be able, by the end of the year, next year, have this conversation to say to you, hey, Jaden, this is where we are with our strategic plan. And these are some of our long-term goals for the county so we can drive that forward.
Well, it's definitely going to be exciting to see it all come together, which is why I appreciate you guys joining me to give the little scoop on what's to come. I appreciate it.
Always want to tell our story.
Well,
Absolutely.
thank you. And that is this week's Community Focus. I'm Jaden Jefferson. Have a great week.